here we are at Inniskillin, one of the wineries that actually pioneered the Niagara wine industry. We're actually going to be talking to Debbie Pratt today, which Tony Aspler, a wine critic, once called the heartbeat of Inniskillin. Let's go take a look.
So Donald and Carl proceeded to produce premium wines. Their wines were always a little more expensive than the other wines out there. And of course, Donald being the marketing side and Carl being the winemaking side, Donald took the wines to his toughest critics first. And he found that people that knew about wine would understand the quality. So therefore, it wasn't about advertising the wine, it was about getting people to write about it, and the story behind Donald and Carl sort of facing all odds. And even the fact that they were granted the first winery license since 1929, which was Prohibition. And so 1975 was a milestone for Inniskillin. Not only did Donald and Carl found Inniskillin, but this license showed that there was a future to be had if people were able to grant this license to them, which they were. So that aspect was very important to the beginning of Inniskillin. So the first ice wine, vintage 1984, from the Vidal grapes, just here at the winery. And we are looking here at the one that is the most famous of our ice wines, the 1989 ice wine. And this was one that Carl made. And of course, in making ice wine, it had to be at least -8 degrees Celsius to get the grapes completely frozen. And so in 1989, this one, we didn't realize when we picked it, it was going to be so special. But by 1991, Donald decided to take it to Vin Expo in Bordeaux, the largest wine show in the world. And lo and behold, he walks out with this award. And they were a little reluctant for a Canadian to be walking out with this massive award at a wine show, because no one still really believed that Canada could make such great international wine. Still going on, so let's take a look in the wine boutique. Well, here we are in the boutique, and lots of wines for sure. This is where all of our visitors come, and they come from around the world, and that's exciting. And that ties into really where we are in the future, where we're famous for ice wine. Our table wines are still very, very highly sought after. Everything from Chardonnays and Rieslings, and Pinot Gris is a new trend. Merlots. You like Pinot Gris? That's great. That's great. So yeah, so as people come in, they can tour and they can taste, and our special events, especially the lovely local foods and the piazza in the summer. But I think the strength for our industry, as well as Inniskillin, has come from the fact that we're concentrating on cool climate grape varieties like Chardonnay and Riesling and Cabernet Franc. These grapes do well here, and so therefore that's where your reputation will build. So you don't want to try and use grapes that might not last. The whole focus has been what survives here, what does well here. And so clearly that's what we've built with the table wine. And of course, ice wine is a great fascination, because people say, of course, ice wine is Canadian because you have ice and snow and Wayne Gretzky and the Rocky Mountains, and so there's a real recognition or lining up of understanding. So we look forward to that, continuing the strength that we've built on, but always making quality wines, building credibility. VQA is a good example of credibility. Donald Zeraldo, the co-founder here, worked very hard in coming up with a set of standards, and VQA, meaning Vintners Quality Alliance, gives a set of rules and regulations that guarantee the consumer a very high-quality product, and that's why you'll find VQA on the actual packaging as well. VQA, first and foremost, means 100% of the grapes in there are grown here in Ontario.
Which ties back into keeping the grape on the label, so it's very quality German wines that you're producing here.
Very much so, very much so. So consistency, and again, I think there's no better way than to celebrate where we've come from way back in 1975 to today, 2012. That success slowly building. Lots of hard work, but no better way to celebrate than with some sparkling ice wine. So Taylor, if you want to take this, and let's have a little toast to the success of the Ontario wine region with one of the wines that clearly is celebratory.
One of the best wines.
So this is the sparkling ice wine. So it combines bubbles and that wonderful natural sweetness. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Debbie.
Great to have you here.
It's been an amazing visit. And cheers.